morning, family. Um, as you know, we're walking through some circumstances that are kind of scary, and it keeps reminding me of something that happened to me a long time ago that I've decided I want to share with you all. And this is Odin, who jumped up in my lap just a moment ago, so I'm going to let him stay. It started with the birth of my first child. I had a normal pregnancy, and then I had his labor and delivery started off normal, and then it just devolved into a medical emergency very quickly. My blood pressure went up really high. His heart rate went down, and they broke my water to try to get him to come faster. They discovered that he was in distress. They gave me Pitocin at that point, like a horse dose of Pitocin, and that took my contractions from, being painful but manageable, straight up to somebody kill me now. It was really overwhelming, and the hospital staff made it ever so much worse. I'm not gonna lie, they didn't communicate anything to us. They just ran back and forth in the room looking alarmed and talking to each other. It was really a panic situation. It was very, very frightening, and they made it ever so much worse. So anyway, at the end of all that, I got the most incredible, beautiful, perfect little baby boy, and that was great, and it was wonderful. But the whole event really was very traumatic for me, honestly, and I processed it for a long time afterwards. So, a few years later, when I became pregnant for the second time, I was desperate to not have to deliver again in the hospital and to not have um, that drug, the Pitocin. I researched and looked at birthing centers and home birth and this kind of thing, and for multiple reasons, it was not going to happen. It didn't happen. I delivered in the hospital again. But before that, I spent the entire pregnancy on my face until I couldn't get down on my face anymore, begging God to not let that happen, to let me deliver at home, to make it so that I could have a peaceful home birth. And I was terrified of going back in the hospital again. Uh, so I begged. I begged, I pleaded, I cried. I was really, really frightened. Come to the end of that pregnancy, that second child went 2 weeks overdue. And when you go 2 weeks overdue, they schedule you for induction in the hospital with Pitocin. So I woke up the morning of the induction and I got in the shower and I pleaded with God to make my labor start and let me have this baby naturally and not have to have drugs. Nothing happened. So I went to the hospital, where I poured my heart out to the hospital staff. I was like, I am so scared to be here. And I explained to them what had happened the first time. And they were very compassionate and sweet and kind with me, very understanding and reassuring. So that was really great. So they hooked me up to the IV. They started the Pitocin drip. I started into labor. And shortly into labor, my blood pressure started to go up again. And I got scared. So what I did was I raised my hands and I closed my eyes and I started to worship God. And I started praying and praising him and worshiping him. And it was funny because I could hear people behind me, what is she doing? Oh, I don't know, I think she's praying, talking to each other. It was funny. But I just praised him and gave him glory and worshiped him. And I felt his presence. And my blood pressure went down. And the rest of the delivery was just uneventful. I kept telling them to turn the Pitocin up because, we don't need to take all day to do this. I've done this before. I know how this movie ends. Let's just do it. So we did it. And in the end, I got this absolutely gorgeous little precious perfect baby boy again which was marvelous. So later, I'm home with this kid, with this newborn, and I'm praying. And I said to God, you know, I don't understand. You could have stopped that from happening. You could have stopped me from having to go there. You could have given me what I asked for, and I begged you, and you didn't, and I don't understand. And he said, yeah, I could have, but I didn't, because Dawn, I want you to know that you don't have to be afraid of circumstances because I'm with you. So, people say to me sometimes, and sometimes they say about me, that I have a lot of faith. I have a lot of faith in my God. But here's the thing, what I have is a lot of experiences with my God. When you have a lot of experiences with someone, you learn who that person is, what they really are, what kind of person they are, and you learn whether you can trust that person or not by those experiences. And I have a lot of those stories, and maybe I'll tell you some more sometime. This is enough for today, but standing in the scary circumstances, I hear the voice of my God saying, you don't have to be afraid. So that's where I am. God bless all of you. Have a lovely day. Bye bye.